Hi guys, Matt Hetherington here from MHTableTennis.com. Thank you for joining me here for another one of my table tennis coaching tutorial videos. This is the 16th in a series of 30, and there are a dozen more that I did on service before. So we're growing a decent collection of table tennis coaching videos. If you haven't subscribed or checked some of the other videos out, make sure you take a moment to do that. There are probably some things there. If you find this video useful, it's likely you'll find some other useful things in those other videos. Now, today's video, I want to focus on footwork, but a little bit further away from the traditional sense. When people think of footwork drills, they think of side steps, step arounds, forehand and backhand. A lot of the default thinking about footwork goes to lateral movements, side to side movements. Now, I want to focus more in this video on depth footwork, and that is being able to move in and out from the table. Now, there are obviously different fields of depth that you need to work from. There's in at the table, and then back from the table. I think really, since the plastic ball came in, it's more important to focus on the in close to the table and at the table. And you don't really, at the club level or even in regional tournaments, you don't see as much table tennis played further back from the table anymore. It's a lot harder to generate that power and spin without using a lot of body weight transfer. So you'll see players like Harimoto, Lin Yunju. These players are really playing with a lot of speed close to the table now. And I just have a few short tips and a couple of drills that I was practicing the other day that I wanted to show you guys that help you focus on building that depth footwork. And essentially it's just a real big focus on recovering out from the table. So recovering out from the short receive. Now, I did a couple of videos on the short receive and the forehand and backhand flicks. These are really good for you to watch, and they focus on how you get into the table. There are some things you need to look at when you're moving out from the table. There are a number of different scenarios that could occur. If you come in and play short, you can drop shot, you can flick, you can push long, and in each different scenario, you're going to be dealing with a different response. So I'm just going to give some really brief tips. First, when you're coming in to play a short ball, focus on finishing the motion and finishing your stroke before you start recovering. And an error that a lot of table tennis players make is they're so concerned with what's going to happen after they play that ball short, they start recovering too quickly, and it affects not only their follow-up ball, but also the quality of their short ball. So if you're coming in and trying to tap the ball short and then get out as fast as you can, a lot of the time the short push becomes so ineffective that there's no point. This whole recovery is lost because you're going to end up dealing with a powerful loop or a winner. And so it's really important to make sure you commit to your short ball and that you finish your shot and make sure the quality is high. Then once that happens, we can look at recovering. So that's the first tip. The second thing, you need to spring from your toe. So we move in under the table for the short ball, and our body weight is planted on our toe under the table. After you've finished your short shot, you spring from this toe. You really push your body weight off this toe under the table in order to get back into position. So that's important to create a lot of speed and recovering. If you want to make a fast recovery out from the table, it has to be from this leg and pushing from the toe to get back into position. The third tip that I have, when you start your recovery out from the table, so if you've made a short ball here, after the ball comes off the racket and I start pushing back, my eyes need to come up and I need to start focusing on my opponent. As soon as the ball comes off the racket, I touch the ball's coming up, eyes up on my opponent, recovery and ready position. I need to start getting as much information about what they're going to do next as I possibly can. And that means we look at which direction the shoulders are pointed in, how the racket's angled, what kind of motion they're doing before they contact the ball. There's a lot of different information. If you're not watching your opponent while you're in recovery, you are going to realize what's happening too late. And as many of you know, the sport is a very fast reaction sport, and if you don't know what's going on, you're going to struggle to win. So it's very much while you're recovering, and this relates to any table tennis shots, when you're in a recovery mode, watch your opponent. Okay, so there are some really basic tips. One of the other ones that I have, particularly for topspin, is after you flick, you know that the ball's not really going to come back underspin unless you're playing a chopper. So in most scenarios, once you play topspin short at the table, as you're coming back, make sure your racket's up. You have to keep your racket up to be prepared for the next ball. So there's a handful of tips. I have a number of drills that I practiced the other day to prepare for this video. They are combinations of short balls and long balls, so it's just a pair each time. One short, one long, one short, one long. You can do different variations of this and combine whether you're doing flicks or drop shots or long pushes. There are a number of different drills. These are just a few examples, and definitely I find that multi-ball is a really good way to get that footwork repetition of moving in, moving out, moving in, moving out. That way you're just really focusing on getting into the table, recovering, getting into the table, recovering. And you can ramp up the speed and really put your recovery to the test and under pressure. As with all table tennis things, these are a small handful of drills. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different drill combinations. If you need help selecting some, if you have questions about what drills you might do to practice these, please reach out to me. It's one area that I'm quite fond of, is breaking down particular drills to help people with things that they're working on. And as usual, I'm very much open to any questions at any time, so reach out to me by email or in the comments. Thanks for joining me again, and hopefully we'll be back again tomorrow with another video.